Hello everybody and welcome back to Medieval Total War and our Holy Roman Empire Glorious Achievements campaign. It is now AD 1124 and in the last episode we crusaded to Antioch, and I was a little premature, I guess, at the end of that episode when I said we had successfully completed our crusade, because we have not actually officially done that. As you can see, we have not won our 3 points for launching a crusade to Antioch. And as you can tell, we still have the crusade marker here. As long as this remains in place, our crusade is still active, and so we have not finished it. What we will need to do is actually take the settlement in order to get that. And you know, it occurs to me, I've never actually looked close up at the crusade marker. It's very kind of cool. It's got this knight here kneeling with a shield indicating your faction and a sword point down. Very, very nice stuff. I never really noticed that. I always, would zoom in and look at the faction leader symbols or just the army symbols for the different armies and the different factions, but never noticed the crusading one had its own special little marker. But at any rate, we're going to need to take this little fort at Antioch, and because we started in the early years, the AI has not had much of a chance yet to build up around here. Although you can see they have been building some forts at least. Tripoli has a keep. And so that is something. And the Egyptians are probably going to counterattack us as soon as we hit end turn. They got 3 full stacks. So let's actually just go ahead and see what they do here. Oh, interesting. We've got a 3-way battle going on for Kiev. Oh, the Turks actually. And only the Turks. It doesn't look like the Egyptians. Okay, so they have attempted an attack and decided they cannot win and are simply retreating. That's kind of unfortunate. Okay, we get some bandits there, but that's probably fine. You notice how it's split between a very small stack of the initially owning faction. We took this from the Turks, and we basically destroyed everything and put taxes down to very low. And we left nothing here. And there's also a very small stack of rebels. So when you do that, when you put the taxes down to very low, it's my experience that you tend to get these tiny, tiny armies that is split between rebels and then the owning faction. So that's pretty good. It's a bit of a coin toss as to who's going to take it over. Probably it's going to be the Turks, because they could just move in a supporting force there. But I guess you never know. The Byzantines could get in on it. And Antioch is about to fall. Okay. All right. And because it's 1125, we get another homeland achievement. Yes, we'll let the trumpeters finish their flourish here. So we just scored 13 points off of that. You can see now we're up to 27, and again doing fairly well. The Byzantines are still beating us by just a single point. And, they're going to be conquering stuff and gradually getting more points based on that. It looks like they've done a bit of conquering already. They got 4 extra provinces in order to get them this single extra point. Still tied with the Hungarians, and the Italians are just behind us. I don't know that they're going to do a lot in terms of points here, but then again, they get a lot of points, surprisingly a lot, considering that they don't get that many provinces. They have, as we were able to tell, taken the settlement of Grenada through what appears to be bribery. As you can tell, the portraits here are sort of Muslim themed, and they've got some units here. This looks like a Ghulam bodyguard unit. Yeah, so they bribed this from rebels or maybe from the Almohads themselves. They've also got some Berber camels. The rest of these look like, Catholic style archers. So very interesting stuff happening in Spain. The Spanish have not been able to really cement this just yet, although they are moving up into France basically, and are besieging the last bastion of the Aragonese in Toulouse. Now the Aragonese were my ally. They actually still are my ally. So if I wanted to, I could bring down some reinforcements here and attempt to keep them alive. That would actually potentially do some stuff for my influence. Emperor Conrad III is looking at 5 crowns of influence. I think at the beginning of his reign, which began just a few years ago, he was at 4 crowns, which is fairly typical for a starting king. He's since picked up another crown, probably a result of the conquest of Antioch. Or maybe it's just the length of his reign. Maybe he just acquired it through staying alive. But we could, relieve the siege for our ally, return the province to them. They may sally out and help us. And it looks like the Spanish don't have a lot that looks too threatening. They've got some good generals. They often do. And these Spanish Jeannettes are really interesting units. I don't know how good they are. They can be absolutely devastating when they're used well. But of course, the AI doesn't always use them well. What do they have here? So more of those, more archers. Let's see. The real thing I want to check is, okay, they've got 2 units of archers, 2.5 here, and 2 in this stack. So 4.5 units of archers. I've got 3, 4, 5. I got some mercs just waiting here. Do I want to start a war with Spain? Let's see who they're allied to. All right, they're only allied with the people of Novgorod. And they are at war with the Almohads and at war with the Aragonese. I think their war with the Almohads is basically over. They may be down in Morocco. They seem to be holding Portugal, so we'll move our agents around. The reason I'm contemplating this is because, A, I don't see the Spanish have a fleet, really, which means that they can't get to us in Provence. And so the only place they would be attacking us would be Toulouse. If I manage to win, and we kick out the Spanish and the Aragonese retake Toulouse, then our war with the Spanish would end. It could be a very brief war. So let's do it. They're neutral, but that's okay. We'll just move everything down here. And we'll just move all of our units, and let's see. We should probably leave a unit of peasants behind as a garrison. And we'll move some from here. Let's see. I guess we could move the king down. Why not? It's still got low taxes. We'll train up some stuff. We could actually hire a bunch of mercenaries. Let's do that too. We're still, the economy's limping along. It's going to be worse here when the crusade ends. We're going to have to figure out some solution to it. But since this is kind of a one-off, let's go ahead. We've got a decent amount of money in the bank, and let's go with these Bulgarian brigands. This is a unit that that's pretty rare. You can get them as mercenaries. You can also train them, but they can only be trained, I believe, in Bulgaria itself. And it takes kind of a lot to get them. So I don't know that it's worth it, honestly, teching up to the point where you can train these guys. But they're interesting. I like the idea that they're sort of tactically flexible fighters, bows and swords, but low morale. But, archers are going to be good. These guys, Turkoman foot soldiers, look absolutely awesome. But again, I don't know how actually effective they are. They've got a very weak attack. They at least do not have poor morale, and they're armored. So, let's actually do it. Let's say that our crusaders have managed to make some contacts, as kind of unbelievable as that may seem. All right, where did they show up? Did I not hire them? Yes, I did. You got to press the hand with the coins. All right, now we've got a decent army here, and this is Lord von Holland, but we don't have any princes leading them, but we got a lot of mercs. Let's go ahead and lower the taxes there. And I think we'll keep everything else the same, because we don't really want to spend all that much money here. Let's get our princess down to, let's get her down to Serbia. I'm just going to keep an eye on the western part of the Byzantines. So this is about to fall. We don't need to assault it. We're looking at 1,642 men. We could, theoretically we could assault it, but there's no real need, I don't think. Let's see. If they counterattack and we defeat them, I think we get the province that way. That's the way it should work out. All right, looks like the Hungarians won. They're moving into the steppe lands. There comes the big counterattack. All right, Italians strengthening their position in Grenada. They've, of course, got those islands in the Western Mediterranean as well. Okay. It's funny. We outnumber them. I did not expect that, given just the... Oh, this is Toulouse, right? We outnumber the Spanish here. We're going to be vastly outnumbered in Antioch. All right, let's just move this around. Well, no, you know what? Let's keep the peasants. 100 peasants Sure, we may as well use those guys up. All the mercs are out front. That's the way we want it. Looks like coming in reinforcements, you've got your typical stuff. Some low numbers of cav and some chewed up other infantry. The biggest challenge here is probably going to be these cav. Let's go ahead and do a quick save. Nothing too surprising in terms of the terrain. And it doesn't look like we have any reinforcing armies showing up on our behalf. Our allies, the Almohads, I don't think are going to join us on this battle, unfortunately. But at least we can return the province to them, get a little influence, I think, for our Emperor, Conrad III. And then that'll help everything. Influence, again, is primarily, as far as I can tell, the immediate impact is loyalty for your generals. That's always a good thing, especially since Conrad is going to have a pretty short reign here. Now, one thing about this game that is a bit unfortunate is that the traits and, to some extent, the stats of your generals carry across. So, generals do get old. They die of old age. They die of various reasons. But when a new general replaces the unit, like, you don't lose... oh my gosh. Our general here has -2 Valor. Okay, he's probably... I wish I could see his traits. I should have taken a closer look. He's a lord. Alright, he's staying out of battle. But I think he gets some morale bonuses to his men. Because I think what he was is a captured and ransomed general. Alright, so we got our Bulgarian brigands in the back. A nice little model for them there. With the conical helmets. We get some Italian infantry. Here's the Turkoman foot soldiers here. Again, a really nice job with these models. It's easy to dismiss the visuals of this game because there are 2D sprites, but they actually, you know, they put some effort in. They put some detail in here. And it's something that I tend not to appreciate because you're fighting the battles at... you know, bird's eye view. But here's our Italian infantry, our archers. I think everything else we've seen. Okay. Let's group up everybody. And let's see, we've got Vikings. Okay, our secret weapon here is going to be the 60 Vikings that we've got in the front. They've got a shield. They're good against armor. They've got fantastic morale. And I do kind of wish we had another unit of them. But let's go ahead and get this started. Oh my gosh, the terrain is absolutely in their favor. Alright, we can theoretically work over to the right and try to push them that way. Might be the good option to do. Let's see if they're going to try to come down towards us. Let's see what they're going to do. They are kind of coming down, aren't they? Okay. They're going to charge in. We'll go and push them away. Now they're marching quickly. They are attacking, okay. Alright, we'll just get you guys back. Alright, this is actually kind of nice. They're attacking our Vikings. Did not notice that in time. Losing badly. But we're going to get the urban militia over there. We're seeing some wavering, but that seems to have stabilized for the moment. If we can get some nice kills in. So our urban militia are soaking these absolutely devastating javelins. Alright, there we go. Routed that unit. Here comes another. We'll just stay put there. What do we got going here? Let's target. This is their general unit. Our other guys are forming up. Oh, but they're going to get us strung out because we're falling for the classic horse tactic of, you know, split up the enemy and tear them apart in detail. So, yep. It's not going so good. We'll get our urban militia over here at least, and we can theoretically get involved in some melee with some of our units. But in practice, that may not turn out very well, because some of these archers can fight, but they're just not going to be strong at it. Their morale is going to be kind of weak, and we're way away from the main army there. We are doing some work on their general unit. And if we can just beat these guys, or at least hold out, this is the majority of their cavalry. So if we can chew them up sufficiently, then we might be okay. All right, we got some archers coming back here. All right, who do we want to fire at now? Down to 14. Hitting in the back, we're doing a lot more damage that way. All right, looks like they're gonna get hit by that cav. All right, they're stopping. They're getting these guys around in the back. Let's run them over here. We'll turn around. Down to 10 Spanish units there. Yeah, this is a disaster on the left. We want to protect the general because he can't fight. So we want to kind of make sure we got him all protected there. Let's turn the Italian infantry this way, actually. It doesn't look like we're going to get outflanked to the right. All right, Bulgarian brigands are going to come back. Let's bring them this way, I guess. Some of these units will come back. Right? You can see that they're able to be rallied. They're not going to stick around long, but at least they're going to stretch out their cavalry.
The enemy general reveals his true
Awesome.
colors as a coward and
Okay.
flees.
Now, this is all potentially a problem because our archers have gotten well away from the support. He may come back, too. All right, let's get our brigands right down here. Alright, they're theoretically attacking. Let's see, we've got a bunch of archers, we've got some Bulgarian brigands among them. Let's throw them in. Winning easily. Alright. Actually, these 16 archers came back. Let's keep them here. You gotta keep them, keep on top of them to give them orders, because otherwise they're just not going to, not going to be facing the right way, potentially. Okay, now everybody run in the other direction. We need to get everybody back by some safety here. We managed to withdraw the Jeannettes, or rout them. I think their general is off the field. Let's change where our reinforcements are going to appear. Our assembly point was back over there somewhere. We can bring on another unit. That's going to be those 100 peasants. So not the best. All right, and we do have a problem here because there are Spanish javelin men who are quite decent, actually, in terms of not their melee, but their ranged. Ranged attack very strong. We got our Bulgarian brigands. We got a couple units of archers also involved. All right, there's our 37 Spanish units. I think they were on the field from the beginning. I don't think they have any big reinforcing numbers. All right, great. I think this is going to be fine. Let's hold out here. Bring the Bulgarian brigands back. We're going to get caught by spearmen, unfortunately. Let's go ahead and throw in the brigands. See what we can do. Right, let's hit those spearmen. And these guys are just going to wait for the right opportunity. Where are reinforcements coming from? They're probably still going to come from back over here somewhere. We'll just have to keep an eye out for what looks like 100 peasants marching over the horizon. Spearmen are winning easily. You know what? Let's just run our archers down to support in melee. And let's get our other units involved here. Oh, they're going right for the general. Are they going to do that? Alright, let's get the Turkomans in. Let's get the peasants in. They got bad morale, but or bad valor, but they got good morale. I think, at any rate.
Your general has let caution
Oh
get
no,
the
okay.
better of him, and now he flees.
They've got the opposite of good morale. They have bad morale. Alright, so he is gone. This is the end of this, I think. Well, that's it for the reinforcements. Where are they? Not way over there. Possibly over the edge of the hills here somewhere. Oh, here they are. Okay, so now the question is, do we want to actually try to salvage some of this? Some of these guys may come back. Now, they're not liable to come back because they're being pursued by the enemy. So actually, yeah, this is looking like a lost cause, unfortunately. Well, we tried our best, Aragon. If they will back off and give us a bit of breathing space, we might get some of these guys to reform. But really, all we've got coming now is... Let's withdraw them. We've got peasants. We've got, I think, 3 units of urban militia. Yeah, of course, right here. So we can do this. We can just get them all to withdraw. And usually the thing that I do when I've lost is just spitefully execute the prisoners. And there we go. So that's not good at all. Well, the terrain was very bad. Terrain was bad. Now, this is not a province that we owned, so we didn't lose anything, at least. Okay, Lesser Armenia is lost to the rebels. It looks like they won that. Very good. Okay, here we are outnumbered. Not quite 2-1, but close. So we'll save this one. And looking at the forces here, we've got Prince Herman. And what do we have for units coming next? Let's see. I think, as always, I want the Cav kind of to be there first, because they're liable to have the most impact early in the battle as opposed to later on. Let's see. We've got a lot of peasants still, but we've got some more interesting things. We've got some urban militia. We've got some camels. These guys are basically mounted peasants. They are not that good. And probably they're not going to be very good in these conditions either, because it's winter, so they're going to be fighting in the snow. A lot of our units are not going to get bonuses in the snow necessarily, but they're not going to get their desert bonus, at least, in these conditions. So what else do they have? They've got some Saharan Cav. That's an interesting unit. Fast, strong charge, but very light, like a lot of their stuff. They get really very, very little that's that intimidating. So the main force here is peasants. Can we hold out against these guys? Peasants, some camels, a couple units of understrength archers, and some Nubian spearmen, led by Prince Nasir. And I think we can. So let's just shuffle these guys. Let's see. I think the 19 Slav javelin men are not going to make a huge difference. I'd rather have something like this. Okay, the 6 Jobagi are similarly interesting, but not that useful. And let's bring the spearmen down, actually. I think we want more of the fanatics up front. Okay, let's go with that. Command the defense personally. And if we win this, we should get the province. And the crusade should be successful at getting us those 3 points and probably putting us in the lead in terms of glorious achievements. Oh, it's raining. Okay. So the pre-battle screen lied to us. I thought winter was a little unusual, but I've never been to the Antioch region, so I don't know how it is. Right, we've got our 3 ballistic crew. We get to deploy, and terrain has not been really in our favor the past couple of battles. At least we're defending this time, but I don't think that's going to make that much of a difference. Okay, looking at what we've got some good archers, so I want to deploy probably over here so we can kind of take advantage of that. But we can see this fence here is indicating the limit of deployment, so we can't go quite where I would like. Let's get the ballistas. We'll get the archers here, something like this. And then we've got our line of infantry. We've got the line that is going to kind of hold. These are the units with like shields and some kind of defensive stats. Our order foot soldiers here. These are a free crusade unit. You know, pretty decent spearmen. We've got your basic spearmen. We've also got some feudal men-at-arms. So swordsmen, good in a couple of different roles. They're going to be pretty important to us. We've got 3 almost full units of those. We also have some malicious sergeants. So these are a good charging unit. We're going to want to reserve them for the Prince Nasir himself, because they're armed with like halberds or something that can be used to great effect against armor. And then we've got our Slav warriors. I'm going to have them kind of grouped up in the back here. I guess it'd be nice if some of them were hidden. Okay, there we go. The tree image there on the unit card is indicating that a couple of these units are counting as hidden. So maybe what I ought to do is bring these guys... Yeah, let's bring them back a little bit like this. The archers can still shoot over their heads, I believe. Let's bring these militia guys back. It's more of a reserve. And we've got cav as well, Teutonic sergeants, with what looks to be like a very flamboyant feathered helmets. Very nice. And then Prince Herman here, probably being somewhere in the center. I think that's everything. Now, we also may want to check our reinforcement flag. Actually, we can't... Did I... No, okay, we don't want to replace any. But when we begin the battle... Yeah, we'll change where the flag is, because normally reinforcements are going to march out to that point. I want them to be more like right up about here, I guess. Okay, guys, you are attacking. So that means it's your move. Make sure you guys are on fire at will. And I'm sure they're going to try to work around to our right, but we do have these Slav warriors hidden up here on the hill. Take the guys who are not already hidden and move them right over here. Probably they will be hidden at that point. And if they insist on moving over this way, we'll get the spearmen over here too. They'll be slightly vulnerable, but they get the Slavs to back them up. Alright, let's speed this up then. Yeah, they're definitely moving around to the right. So we're going to swing these guys as well. Right over here. I think the archers are probably in a decent position. Let's get our malicious sergeants more in a central spot. Teutonic sergeants I want to keep back because these camels are effective against cav. Let's see, the archers are probably good where they are. Again, the enemy does not have too many archers of their own. Lots of peasants, lots of nice and soft targets. I don't know that our ballistas have really done any damage yet. Here come the arrows. There's the Prince. Prince Nasir moving over to the right here. Let's get the order of foot soldiers. Actually, let's leave them where they are. Malicious sergeants. Come over this way. Right behind the spearmen, I think. I'd like the spearmen to hold out against the camel warriors, because those guys are pretty light, fairly unintimidating. Alright, they may become targets for archers too, but as long as we got a few of them to hack down, the heavy cav will be pretty decent. Alright, let's do a charge. Slav warriors are going to come out. Let's get these other guys coming out too. Are they going to stand and take it? They are. Looks like the enemy's moving the whole line forward. I think we're in a pretty good position here. Most of the camels concentrated on our right. Some look like they're charging forward at what appears to be a gap right at the ballista. I'd be okay with that. Camels are winning, actually. This is a bit of a problem. Let's bring the other Slavs over. And let's send the spearmen down. Let's do a counter charge. Oh, there's the general. Why did I think... Well, I guess I assumed the prince was, the one in charge. All right, these peasants I'm going to ignore. The Teutonic sergeants can deal with them. If they happen to fight some of my swordsmen, that's okay. Let's see. We've got the Gulan bodyguards in the fray, but we don't really have a way to contact them yet, so let's get our militia sergeants over. Bring the general over this way, and yeah, the peasants are already routing. Okay, feudal men-at-arms, I think we're needed more at the center. The Slavs are not winning yet, which is concerning because they're not the best in terms of morale. All right, let's get. Well, we got to watch out for their general who has not fled the field yet. We're doing quite well on our left. Keep that up. Let's go for the general here. Militia sergeants, let's hit the Gulan bodyguards in the back. I don't think we've really lost anyone. The archers, enemy archers seem not to have noticed us. Camels going right for the general. Let's do it. Only 4 of them. Let's fall on those Nubians, get them to rout with our cav. Starting to hear some withdrawing. Making short work of those Bedouin camel warriors with our prince. There he goes. And there's the horn call for retreat. All right. We're going to keep this up for a little while. I'm going to have my Teutonic sergeants go after those archers. I'm going to call back my feudal men-at-arms. These guys do not need to be this far away. In fact, let's bring up the whole line. I think everything is going fine here. I think everybody is basically routed. Let's keep the general on the peasants and so on. Okay, there are 22 Bedouin camel warriors running away. That's a bit more than I would have liked. Hopefully they just continue to flee. Once they get up to that point where my cursor turns red, that's like the edge of the map, but they have reformed, unfortunately. Let's stay on them then. Again, you don't want to fight them with cav typically. But I think they mostly have a morale effect versus cav. I don't think that they're necessarily good at fighting cav. And we have the morale advantage now, whereas their entire army is basically in flight. Alright, let's bring back the Slavs. You can see we've really lost quite a few of these guys. They have done some good work for us, though. These 2 units are in pretty good shape. Bring up the smaller unit as kind of reinforcements. We've got lots of archers left. And our cavalry is intact. Alright, we'll bring back the general. We'll try to reserve his fatigue. He is, let's see. Okay, he's pretty decent. We've got these guys. The Teutonic sergeants are quite tired. They've been doing a lot more chasing. The Royal Knights are quite fresh, so that's good. So possibly this is where the reinforcements are going to come. I guess at this point, since we're so close to the red line, we don't need to be on top of all of these peasants. Let's bring back all of our cav. And we'll get in a nice position here. Speed up the battle. Alright, are they coming back? There they are. They are indeed. We're going to have another full stack to face down here. Awesome stuff. Alright, let's bring the sergeants. Alright, I think this is good. We got our archers on a nice hill. Except these guys are not in the best position, maybe. Let's bring them over here. Archers still have a lot of arrows, and we haven't called on any reinforcements yet. Ballista's shooting at these Saharan cav. They may get all formed up here, and it looks like they're going to attack. Theoretically, they could just turn around and withdraw. but I think they're gonna bring it on, which is awesome. I just love how the field gets just you know, kind of hard to see because there's all the corpses of the slain fighters. And you look at your line and, you know, check how deep the ranks are and how many men were lost. We lost a notable number of spearmen. In fact, we're stretched out a little too thin here. I think you want them like 3 ranks. Alright, those guys are concealed, which is fantastic. I think in the trees, your guys are going to recharge their fatigue more quickly. Not totally sure about that. But being concealed can be a nice shock to the enemy if you charge out from a hidden position. Alright, they're going right for it, marching quickly, probably trying to scare away our archers or ballista units, but we've already taken quite a few of them out. Do we want to attack or do we want to wait? Let's wait. Let's wait until they commit everywhere. And then we'll do a counter charge with our Slavs, with our cavalry. I want to make sure that I can get all of them. Some of them are already routing. I don't want to get too greedy, though. There are a lot of Bedouins still around, and you know, they can be a problem for our cav. But the Bedouins are mostly on the other flank, so let's send out the Teutonic sergeants. We're no longer hiding. These guys have gone into a loose formation to avoid the arrows. Well, let's see how this goes. Oh, I love it. And the rout spreads to the other units. Yeah, let's keep on that for a little while. The Bedouins are running away too. Now, I guess, you know, theoretically it could be a feigned retreat. They've got more reinforcements coming, so I think, in fact, we'll pull back our cav. We don't want their other cav or camels to go and chase our riders. They'll possibly reform. And some of our archers are out. So now the question is, who's going to come as reinforcements? Alright, can we fire at anything? Why are we not firing? We have to go fire at will again? Well, tell you what, let's withdraw them. That'll open up a slot for some reinforcements. Alright, let's catch these guys. They're asking for it. We've got the height advantage. We've got them surrounded. Yeah. Let's bring the Slavs back over here. And just getting close to this routing situation, you can see some other units already starting to flee. Now, archers are out of ammo. So let's charge them in and see how this goes. Kind of keep an eye on the rest of the field. Yeah. We didn't lose any of ours. Just one. Yep, and there they go. But we got some more Bedouins coming, so we're not going to keep this up forever. Oh, yeah, see, here they go. They got me sleeping there. So this could be a problem. Our Teutonic sergeants are unsupported, essentially. Out there. Let's get these archers back. Let's actually withdraw them, because I don't think we need them on the field at the moment. Okay, good. Slavs are running away. That's, you know... a little worried about our sergeants. They are the only really good cav we have, so let's go after their peasants. we'll do this. If we can get them to rout, it'll probably infect the morale of these Bedouins. And they may just rout on their own. It'll at least give our Slavs time to get closer to support. Yeah, we've just got more of them. Now we're getting kind of tired here. So let's start everybody moving back. You got to be a little more deliberate in this game than with like Rome Total War or some of the other games. I haven't played every Total War title, but you can't move as fast on the battlefield. You don't have as precise control of your units. There are units that can just charge without orders. There are units who get sort of stuck in melee, and it's harder to disengage them than it is in some other titles. But, you know, in a way, that, to me, kind of makes it feel a little more realistic. You know, in the sense that you are not these units. You are not taking the place of a unit of 47 feudal men-at-arms who you can move with perfect precision and speed anywhere you want, and then you can go into take command of this unit and totally tell them what to do. You're the general who's like commanding all of them, and you can give these broad stroke commands, but you don't have perfect control over anything, really. They're actually winning against our Slavs, but I think this should be the end of this. Well, they're staying a lot longer than I thought. There we go. Alright, not going to pursue. We'll get back up on the hill. And here we'll go with our men-at-arms, and that click sound is the sound of a unit fleeing the field, making room for another slot for reinforcements. We'll send our swordsmen after these Bedouins. They're avoiding the center of our line, for the most part. Okay, I'm willing to let them go a little while longer. There's another slot open up. Yeah, but as you can see, all these units are just running away, so we'll move them back. We're close enough that we can do a countercharge if we need to. These archers, I should probably withdraw, if only to keep them intact for future battles, because this is the beginning of holding the Holy Land. Alright, I told you guys to go, like, up here. Form you up. I notice how long these battles last as well. When did we start this one? It feels like it's been a half hour. And you can just have waves and waves of reinforcements. And if the AI does take its time to bring them on, form them up, then you can be looking at quite a lengthy battle. Alright, let's send them down. We can probably catch them. Alright, that's enough for you. Now, the longer we stand around, our men are going to get tired as well. It's not as bad as if you're in, like, a desert situation where all of your armored units are just going to bake in the heat. So Antioch is kind of good in that regard. I think it's the only Crusade target that doesn't have desert. I think even Edessa... whoops. No, that's fine. We'll just bring on a unit. Even Edessa, I believe, has... I guess we clicked it, so we have to... have to let it happen. Oh, and our knights just charged. Completely on their own. Now, I could call that back because I saw it, but I'm going to allow it. Okay, and the first reinforcing unit we have is this unit of Szekely. These are horse archers, but a very interesting hybrid unit as well. They're firing already. We'll take a closer look here. I think it's plenty safe. So you can tell they've got shields. Okay, we've got some horse archers mixed in. But the Szekely here have shields as well as bows. They've got curved swords. Curved swords, yes, like those warriors from Hammerfell. It's the curve that makes it good. You guys can come back. But this is a Hungarian unit. Here's our other archers getting off the field so we can come back. Okay, I think that'll be fine. Yeah, again, horse archers in this game have to be halted to fire. It just took a volley and fled. I think we're getting down now towards the end. Yep, mounted crossbowmen and some 9 horsemen. The next unit is going to be, I think, some Royal Knights. Yeah, they don't like any of this. So they're all running away now, and I'm wondering if that was a withdraw order, really? I don't think it is. But yeah, you can see that that's pretty much the end here. All right, very nice. We've got 376 captives. Let's hold on to that because we're going to need the money if they're going to pay, which they may not. And we'll see. Oh, ransom refused. Okay, well, either way, right? And ooh, this is from the Spanish. Do we want to pay? I don't think we do. King of Aragon has been killed. That's a bummer. Warning from the Pope. Okay, fair enough. We have recalled our troops already, in the sense that we fled screaming from the battlefield. And we do not attack them again for at least 10 years. So that means 1135, 1136. Okay, see, this is frustrating. When they do attack, it kind of buys them a little bit of extra time. All right, the Byzantines want to marry our princess. Let's hold out because I wouldn't mind an alliance with the Byzantines, but I want to initiate it. All right, yeah, we got some bad traits for some of these guys. Prince Herman now has the skilled defender. Why is he way up there? That's we'll find him here. Okay, that's probably down there because he's in a crusade. Yep, skilled attacker, skilled defender. Fantastic. All right, once again, the little goblet here for glorious objectives is flashing. And so that tells us what? Well, it tells us we've got some new goals, theoretically. But in our case, the goals are largely the same, with the exception of this, the Holy Roman Empire. Let's see what this is. The coronation of Charlemagne in 800 AD established the King of Germany as Emperor and Protector of Rome. Points are counted in 1150, 1204, and 1250. To make reunification a glorious reality, the empire must conquer Milan and Rome for 2 points each, and Naples and Tuscany for 1 point each. Awesome. So this is, again, something that we can do. We cannot do. This is going to give us a total of 6 points, right? Yeah. And we can do part of it. We don't need to do the whole thing. We can get partial points for this. Milan, Rome, Naples, Tuscany. So let's take a look. Naples, Tuscany. So obviously Milan is the most adjacent one. I wouldn't mind just going down to Tuscany, but here's the problem. Rome is held by the Pope at the beginning of the early campaign, I believe. They also own the Papal States. So the papacy has this sort of belt of Italy. So we can't even get Naples unless we have fleets or something, which we could. We could, get some boats going in Provence. I think the port would be on the Ligurian Sea, and then we could get 2 ships, basically, and we get down to Naples. So that's one option to avoid war with the Pope. The other thing is maybe they lost Rome to another faction, like the Byzantines, like the Sicilians, or even the Italians, although I don't think they're at war with anybody currently. Yeah, no, in fact, they are allied with the Sicilians. Now, the Byzantines start off in possession of Naples. The Byzantines are at war with the Sicilians. So what I would really like to do is get a spy or agent down there, just to see what that looks like. All right, the Almohads still own Morocco, which is very nice. Let's bring our princess. All right, they were looking for her hand. The Byzantines were. Do we have an heir who could be married? A lot of our princes actually have wives already. Prince Ludwig is married. Prince Rudolf is married. But I'm noticing that I have a Prince Friedrich. He may be the son of our current emperor, Conrad III. So if that's the case, when he comes of age, he will be the new heir. He will take over from Prince Ludwig, right? If he's the son of the king, is going to take precedence over the younger brother of the king. I'm not totally sure if he's the son. He could be a very, very much younger brother. But I want to wait then. I want to give it about, what is it going to be? He needs to be 15 or 16 when he comes of age. So we want to give it about, 8 or 9 more years. And then see if he takes over as the heir. And then if that's the case, we'll look for a Byzantine princess and see if we can get that. Okay, we have some problems here, probably because of the loss of our battle against the Spanish. Maybe what I can do is try a ceasefire with the Spanish. Let's see, can we make that happen? I guess we could try a princess. The Spanish are now not at war with anybody. No, they're at war with the Almohads. So I wouldn't mind stopping war with them. Let's find an emissary, if possible. A yellow emissary. There we go. Let's drop him here. Propose a ceasefire. And that's going to send us to Castile. So this does tell you where the current king is located, which is right there. We'll see if that works. It may not. And in fact, this may have been a horrible move. I really thought with all the mercenaries I had and the archers, I was going to do a little bit better in that battle. Those Jeannettes are just too good. Okay. We can train a unit of mangonels, but that's not going to really help us. So let's go with more archers. Let's go in Provence with some archers, and we've got to get some men down here. All right, are you weak principles? Sure. Let's retrain him. Okay. In Swabia, we're going for a castle. Let's get some more feudal men-at-arms. I could definitely stand to have a few more of them. Now, we've got Conrad III in Burgundy. I'm thinking that's not such a good idea anymore. Maybe I should move back to Swabia, because if we get attacked here, he's just not going to be able to hold it. All right, and since we're on decent enough terms with everybody else, let's see, you were going up to Franconia, I guess. All right, mercenaries, let's bring them down to like Burgundy. Kind of just shunt everybody towards the south and west. Get some spearmen. Tyrolia doesn't really have anything useful. Lorraine has peasants. All right, I guess we'll go for some more spearmen in Franconia and, let's see, Bohemia. We're allied with our eastern neighbors, so maybe Prince Lothair could head west as well. All right, and now we're gradually losing men. We've got 1366 in this crusade. I'm going to go ahead, and it says it's about to fall, but as you saw, it said that earlier, and we were counterattacked. So I'm going to go ahead, put the assault in there, and we may just auto-resolve that. Let's hope the Spanish don't attack. Okay, good. The Byzantines moving down into Lesser Armenia. Italians expanding into Spain. It's really great to see that. Okay, we're assaulting Antioch Castle. This is just a little fort, right? I think we'll auto-calc this. Let's see. It feels a little risky. All right, we lost 35 men. All right, pillaged 500 florins, and we've completed our crusade. And we raised 238 cash. King of England has died, and the Spanish are not interested in a ceasefire. All right. We get a little bit of different art here for the Crusades objective. I guess I got some guys with relics. All right, very nice. So that just indicates that now we're up to, there's our red there. And how's our income looking? Okay, 148. That's better than I thought. At least we're not in the negative. But we now need to start paying for all these guys and deciding who's going to lead, who's going to be the governor of this place. Now, Prince Herman, what I was saying earlier is these guys don't really die in a sense. So Prince Herman is a general, right? He's got so much loyalty, piety, dread, command, and acumen in certain traits. Now, he, of course, is 35, and he may never inherit the throne. In fact, I think it's very unlikely that he will ever inherit the throne. And so as a result, he will become just a general with royal blood at some point when, like, his nephew takes over. He could potentially inherit then, but then he'll, die of old age at some point. But when he dies, we will still have a general here with, like, 5 command stars and a bunch of traits like this. And that's one of the disappointing things about this game is that the traits just kind of carry on. So the names change. And the game does track the royal generals and men of royal blood. So, like, when he dies, his son, I don't think, is going to have this crown to indicate, or the guy who takes over for him is not going to be of royal blood at any rate. But the traits stay the same. Now, there's a thing you can do, like a command you can give. I think it's Green Generals is the name of it. It's a command code you can enter. And what that does is it, as I understand it, it makes it so that the generals are refreshed. It's like you just trained a new general when you get a new one. I've never done that because I've read that it just in practice is kind of random and it doesn't do anything. It doesn't do quite what you would expect, I guess. I need to look into it a little bit more. But I've always just gone with a default, which is you can spend time cultivating a general, and even if he dies of old age, his name gets changed. But for the most part, someone's going to take over who still knows what's up in terms of command and dread and everything. So at any rate, that's what's going to go on there. The reason I bring that up is because although I cannot make him the governor currently because he is a prince, if he becomes a general and not a prince, or someone takes over for him, then I could give him the Prince of Antioch title. And that might be really useful because if we have a 5-star general running around here, if his loyalty gets low because he's no longer in line for the throne, or he's just some random dude now, but he's still got awesome command, we're going to want to keep him on our good side. So we may want to give him this to increase that loyalty. So at any rate, long way of saying I'm not going to give anyone the title just yet. Let's go ahead, though, and build. We're going to dig into some of our treasury to do that. We absolutely need a fort. We're going to go for very high taxes because we can easily afford it. Antioch is wonderful in terms of trade. If you get this connected to a trade route, this is one of the most lucrative provinces on the map, I think. We've got silk, we've got spices, and we've got gems. This is one of only, I think, 2 provinces that have gems. The other being Edessa, which has the same kind of layout, but Edessa does not have a port. It's inland, so it's never going to be as lucrative as Antioch can be. So that's going to be a long-term goal for us. Fortunately, we've still got the horse breeder intact. We can upgrade this to get our own stuff. And we've got improved farmland already, making us a decent amount of money. 461 in Antioch without anything else going on. Now, we are likely to be attacked again, but I think it's going to be a little while because we're able to beat these guys back pretty handily on the terrain we've got here and with the units we've got currently. But we're going to want to go with a fort first, and then second is probably going to be an inn for mercenaries so we can get quick reinforcement. Let's just take a look at the units we've got left, though, to see if there's any obviously like horrible units. I kind of don't want to disband anybody. Even these 5 Jobagi left or 5 urban militia. We can retrain some of these guys at certain points, and they're not that expensive to keep around anyway. In terms of upkeep is only 31 for these order foot soldiers. Now this is a really interesting unit here. Ludwig von Schwaben, Teutonic Sergeants, 3 stars, great loyalty, great acumen. I may make him Lord of Antioch. We'll give it a little while. We'll give it a bit. Okay, so long-term stuff, ultimately, we want to get going on the Holy Roman Empire. We also potentially could go for more crusade targets. We could go for Tripoli as a crusade. We could, and do just what we did in Antioch. We could then go for Palestine as a crusade target. And that might be a decent idea, actually. But first, I want to secure my borders slightly, because if the Spanish are not interested in ceasefire, they may be interested in a counterattack. I know I just trained peasants there, but Provence is known for its peasants, so we're going to let them have that. I don't really feel like building. I'll go for an inn just for the odds of getting some decent mercs. But we also need to start building stuff like income. All right, so Friesland recently, I think it got something done, or maybe Flanders got the port. We can now build ships. So the way ships work, the way naval stuff works, is obviously you can't move your men onto a naval, square. But because we've got a little ford or crossing indicated here, we can ferry men across to Wessex without needing boats. But otherwise, what you need, if I wanted to invade, let's say Northumbria, I would need a boat in this sea region, the English Channel, and I would need a boat in the North Sea, and I would also need a port in Flanders as the place I'm leaving from. And then I would be able to send my men to any land region that was adjacent to any of the sea regions where I had boats. So I could attack Scotland, Northumbria, Mercia, or Denmark with a boat in the North Sea. Some boats have access to some sea regions. The North Atlantic and the Atlantic Ocean, I believe, are both like deep sea, and so you can't send our little barks out on those. They are restricted to coastal waters, which is honestly most of the waters on the map are coastal. But having some deep sea ships does allow you to get to these Atlantic Ocean regions, and I believe the central Mediterranean is maybe deep sea. And the nice thing about that is it allows you to bypass maybe enemy fleets that are in these coastal regions, and just gives you more options in case your ships are sunk in a storm or lost in battle or something. So the way trade works, therefore, is if you have a port with tradable goods and you have a trading post, then you can start exporting your trade goods to other factions' provinces that have ports that do not have the same trade good that are connected to coastal waters where you have ships. So if I want to start trading with Wessex, first of all, I'm not going to be trading wool with them, even though I produce it, because they also produce it. They're not going to buy it. But I will be selling them my silk and my grain, and I'll need a boat here. And if I want to do the same thing with Northumbria, I get a boat up here. And if I want to make more money by selling to 2 ports at once, I can get a boat into Skagerrak. As long as I have a boat in there, the North Sea, and Flanders, then I'm trading with these ships. So you want to find sea regions with lots of ports, and those need to be AI controlled, so you cannot trade with yourself in this game, which does really restrict how much money you can make. And it also restricts kind of where you want to conquer. So you don't want to conquer every region to get maximum trade income, right? You need to leave some other factions around. So the English Channel can get nice and lucrative, but what can mess it up, in addition to losing a fleet to like a random storm at sea, is enemy boats. So if I press the V key on the keyboard right now, this is telling me I've got some sea regions that have neutral fleets in them. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. I could still trade through these regions and move troops through these regions, but I cannot attack these regions because there's an English ship here kind of defending the waters. So even though we're neutral, we're not at war, I could not send troops to land here because they would, the idea is that they would intercept. And the same thing with Denmark. I can't actually send ships to Norway or Sweden. I could to Denmark, though. I could attack Denmark because the English fleet is not going to stop my troops from landing in Denmark. Okay, enough of that stuff. That's kind of the theory behind what's going on here. I'm going to go ahead and build a bark. Trying to get some income going. Flanders is going to help a lot. If I get up towards the Baltic Sea, that's like 4 ships. All the ships have upkeep costs, by the way, so that's part of the calculation, right? They get higher the farther away they get from a friendly port. We can also send some ships down here and around the Mediterranean, and we can start to make some good cash. Okay. Yeah, let's go for urbans. Let's go for more of these guys in Swabia, and let's start moving these guys down here. We were going to have you right there. We were going to bring you down and you down. All right, everybody's pretty happy, so I'm going to leave that alone. And we are going to work on a crusade probably next turn or so. We're going to start working on a crusade. That's right, we did have some spears we want to bring too. Okay, good. No attacks in the Holy Land. They're going to let us do some building. Okay, so this tells us, this is why these events are useful. This tells us that the Pope does own Rome still. So, very good to know. Spanish succession, okay. And Egyptian and Danish. All right. Prince Herman, argumentative. That's good at first. As this trait develops, it will get, there'll be some negatives. But so far, this is good for dread and valor. Lord von Franken is a zealot. Fine. Albert de Bar is a materialist. Let's see. Is he a lord? He's not, but he really should be, huh? He's a feudal men-at-arms. Yeah, okay. You're going to be the Count of Flanders. And that materialist is really going to help out. And that's going to get, better and better, too. Okay, how's the income now? 413. So making those little moves there did help quite a bit. Now, it looked like I saw the Danes moving maybe over to Prussia. Not terribly sure. Might be worth getting an emissary up to this region just to see who's in control. Okay. We're getting some really nice traits, some nice loyalty on these guys. Keep moving them down to Burgundy. Now, again, we can't attack the Spanish for the next 10 turns or so because we're in danger of being excommunicated, so we do have to keep that in mind. Well, let's just go for another couple of archers, and let's see, we're building trade up here. I'm going to give it another turn before I do a crusade. Let's go for walls, and in Friesland, this actually does have wool. So, it may be worth building a port since we're going to be getting shipping through this region anyway. Although that's not going to help us trading with England because there's lots of wool produced over there. But Denmark does not produce wool. Sweden, I don't think, does. None of these do. So we're going to get some good trade with the Baltic. King of Poland has died. Okay. Lord von Luxembourg is always drunk. All right, well, obviously that's not good. Tyrolia. Yeah, I'll leave it because he's still got 3 acumen. All right, Swabia has finished its castle. We've got an extra princess. Let's just stow her somewhere. Oh, very interesting. We've got a civil war here. I can't, unfortunately, see exactly what's going on. But you can tell by the stance of this figure that he is attacking. This could theoretically be a rebellion, but the fact that the fort does not have the faction colors means that this is a civil war. So the Turkish Sultan, I believe, died. And so this is going to be an opportunity for the Byzantines if they can capitalize on it. Now, I could theoretically as well, but I want to get this as a crusade. That's what's going to get me the points, right? Edessa is a crusade target. It's only one. It's not that useful. It can be lucrative, but I'm not gonna bother with it right now. Just let it be a source of chaos for some other faction. All right, let's check out Naples. I want to see who's in charge there. And we got our first castle. So this is Swabia. Let's see. Here we go. Swordsmith's Workshop allows the training of Swabian swordsmen. Let's get right on that. These are a unit that's probably not quite as useful as I tend to assume that it is. They're a very fun unit. They're heavily armored, two-handed swordsmen. And so it's nice to see a unit like that. I think they're only available in the early and possibly the mid-game. Okay. Flanders. Yeah, since we can't train any actual units yet, let's go with the Town Watch. Saxony also has trade goods, so it's probably time for us to move on a port here, or let's go with a trading post, I guess. We need that anyway. Okay, do I want to do any more with training? Let's stack all these guys up, see how we're looking. It's too many units. Okay, we've got a quite decent amount in Burgundy, which is the place I want to have. All right, and we're still working on archers there. Fair enough. So if they're going to attack us, it's going to be in Provence, and then we'll just counterattack either Toulouse or Provence. I guess I probably don't want them to randomly attack Provence. So let's move Prince Lothair down here just as a discouragement. All right, looks like the Danes are attacking Norway. All right, our emperor has died. Conrad III, let's see who's going to take over. Byzantines are the strongest. And the Pope wants an alliance. Oh, absolutely. All right. Clever with words is a good trait, by the way. So that was the, I guess that's the other general here. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take this Teutonic Sergeant. Since he doesn't have any traits yet, I'm going to put him in charge of this. And he's got 4 shields, wavering in terms of loyalty. But I think that's okay. He's going to potentially pick up some good traits from... This guy's irritable. I guess that's all right. Yeah, clever with words. He can inherit that. Let's just make sure there's nothing else horrible. All right, what's this? All right, both of those are good. So we could turn him into a really, really nice governor. And then if we need to, give him a couple of shields. It looks like there's no attempt by the Turks to take this back. Good. Good for them. The Byzantines didn't take it. Also good because I don't want them to get too strong. They're still in charge of Naples. All right, let's take a look at our new emperor. Ludwig IV, 51 years old. We get a kind of string of you know, middle-aged, older emperors here. He's decent. He's got 5 crowns. Let's take a look at our heirs. Okay, we still got Rudolph. All right, so now Friedrich. I'm not sure if he's going to be the heir when he takes over, because I think, well, these are just princesses. Not sure. We may need to make sure everyone's married, because it may just go down the line of brothers. But Rudolph is married currently. The current emperor is also married, so that's why you do that. Well, I think this makes a pretty decent point for us to end the episode here. Kind of a quick one in terms of the number of turns, but we had a lengthy battle there in the middle of it. It seems fitting to end at the beginning of a new reign. When we come back, we're probably going to get going on Swabian swordsmen, getting our economy back on track. It's already doing fairly well, 783. We're going to have more in terms of recruitment options down in Antioch. Our fort's going to be built next turn, and we're going to see how we're able to hold on to that new possession, as well as defend ourselves against the Spanish, and look to finding opportunities around Italy, possibly Naples. We'll see how this goes. We're not allied with the Byzantines yet, so we could do a quick attack on Naples, although that would potentially threaten us in the Holy Land. So we'll see how that all develops. Thank you very much for joining me for this episode, and I hope you'll stick around for the next one. Until then, everybody, take care.